isolation game, and today we are covering some tutorials from Dreams Workshop. And to start, we'll go for code, style and effects. This one, I don't know what's inside, I've never done it. Maybe I already know some parts of it, but I want to go through all basics for myself to get clear picture of everything that is available. So let's begin.
Are you ready to get those creative juices flowing? This tutorial's all about making your creations beautiful. Now, this is Connie's front garden. But what's this? It's had all the color, style, and magic sucked out of it. But not to worry, Connie. We can help make the garden pretty again with the power of dreams. Just to start you off, all the lighting's already done. We can learn more about that later. And because I'm ever your servant, I've also grouped some of these objects just for you. It'll make editing them quicker and easier. So what does the garden need? Well, it could do with some color, texture, and movement. Luckily, the coat, style, and effects modes are the perfect tools to do that. They don't create new objects. They modify existing sculptures and paintings. And they work on groups. With just a little practice, you can become a master of them all. So let's start by adding some color with the tint tool. Open the assembly menu with the square button and go to the modes menu. Each mode has its own set of tools and options. The tint tool is in coat mode. It has an icon that looks like a pot of paint being spilled. Select it by pressing the X button. As you can see, the assembly menu has now been replaced with the coat menu. In the top row, you'll find options and helpers. Along the bottom, you'll find the tools. Now, which color to use? Open the colors menu in the top row of icons. These are color groups. You can expand a color group with X. Each group contains more shades that you can choose from. I'm going to find a green for the foliage, but if green's not your thing, you can experiment. Is the menu too long? You can scroll it by grabbing it with R2. Pick a shade, or if you fancy a more painterly or organic look, choose the tumbler color at the end of the group. That will apply a random shade that changes as you work. When you've chosen a color, you're ready to go to the next step.
For now, it's pretty obvious.
To add color to our scene, we'll use the tint tool, which has an icon like an airbrush. You can manually select it in the tools menu. But in coat mode, choosing a color from the colors menu equips the tint tool automatically. See the airbrush icon on the tip of your imp. The tint tool recolors objects, either tinting or completely covering their original color. Just press and hold R2 to tint the objects at the tip of your imp. No need to select or scope into anything. The rounded clumps look a bit dreary in this scene. Let's add some color. You can see that the longer you hold R2, the stronger the tint gets. And with a tumbler color selected, it will cycle through different shades. If you make a mistake, you can undo using the left directional button. Or set your tool to subtract and you can detint. How do you do that? If you press triangle while the tool is active, your imp will change to an outline. So now it will remove tint instead of adding it. And that works on pretty much all of the coat, style, and effects tools. Just press triangle when they're equipped to make them subtractive. Try removing some colour using subtractive tint now. Just hold R2 over the object. And to make the tool additive again, press triangle.
Now that's where I missed something. So how to add subtract, and when I have tool equipped, so if I want to now I have to press again, so it will delete the color. Okay, now I get you.
Now that you've got to grips with that, you can colour in the whole scene with the tint tool. Go wild. Use different colours to tint the path, rocks, river, grass, trees, and the little cottage. The colours menu has all the colours you need. Just open a colour group and pick a shade, or the tumbler colour. Take some time to colour your scene. When you're done, move on to the next step.
Well, okay. Some acid waters beside the LSD garden. Nice one.
Good job. Now your scene is beautifully coloured in, let's add some texture to it. For that, we need to leave coat mode and go into style mode. To leave a mode, select the exit button in the top right of the screen. Or you can use a shortcut. Hold L1 and press circle. Just like scoping out of a group. Now use the modes menu to switch over to style mode. The style mode icon is an S-shaped brushstroke. All sculptures and paintings in Dreams are made up of flecks, and style mode is where we manipulate them. For example, notice how the objects in this scene look smooth? That's because their flecks are small and tightly packed together. We can make them more textured with the looseness tool. Select the looseness tool.
God.
It looks like a blurry circle. Now try using R2 to loosen some of the foliage in the scene. Don't hold back.
So they are not polygons. This is not polygon shape. Wow. They look like lots and lots of fevers. That's cool. Different way to make objects. Isn't that a voxel or something? How is it called? So strange. I'm so used to polygons all my life. I've been working with polygons, and now this fever shaped object. Okay, I'm fine with it.
As you can see, loosening sculptures and paintings means their flecks Now try using R2 to loosen some of the foliage in the scene. Don't hold back. As you can see, loosening sculptures and paintings means their flecks become more obvious. If you think they're getting too loose, press triangle to make the tool subtractive and tighten them up again with R2. Or you can just use the left directional button to undo.
My God.
Don't forget to loosen up the river too. We'll need it in the following steps. Carry on loosening the objects in the scene. When you're happy, proceed to the next step.
This is strange. But beautiful, nevertheless. Programmers are gods. They've made a world we can play with such strange little feverish objects. But anyway, we all consist of little wavy particles that cannot be seen. Why am I so amazed by just feverish objects? Anyway, that's magnificent. To find out that everything is pretty much way different than you were expecting it to be. Oh, I hit something there. That's beautiful. That's so beautiful. Couple of more trees. Can I select both and transform both? Yeah, I can. So what's this one? Is this supposed to be also strangely feverish? I don't know. Let's keep it this way. We're in fever world. Oh no, this one's not. Go become a fever. Oh, I completely transformed this one. I think we should return it into its original shape a little bit. I don't want to make you anyway. I guess this makes all Boolean or extract operations much easier than with polygons. Much more connections. Okay, let's continue.
Wonderful. Connie's garden looks like a lovely painting. Let's look at the water now. Water has a reflective quality, so let's add some shine to the river. This is where the finish tool comes in. Exit out of style mode with L1 and circle and head back into coat mode in the modes menu. Next to the colors menu in coat mode, you'll find the finishes menu. Select it with X. These finishes change the way objects react to light in your scene. Using finishes, you can make objects shiny, rough, metallic, or even translucent. Now you can choose your finish for the river. Let's see. Ah, yes. How about shiny wax? Wax finishes are translucent, and the shine will give the river a reflective surface that will catch the light. Apply the finish as before using R2. Remember that you can revert your changes by switching to subtractive mode with triangle or by using undo. Try editing the finish on other groups and objects in the scene. Continue to the next step when you're ready.
I don't think they've got it with water. Even I guess if I will apply a watercolor like this, the material doesn't work really good. It's shiny, but nothing special. Water is a very complicated thing, and I guess reflections are not available for PS4 in their full potential.
Our river looks nice and shiny now, but something's missing. It doesn't flow like water does.
Oh yeah.
But there's a magical tool for that in effects mode. It's called the flow tool. Leave coat mode if you haven't already, and enter effects mode. The effects mode icon has some twinkly stars on it. Alongside the flow tool, you'll notice other animated effects that you can apply to sculptures or paintings. But for now, we'll pick the flow tool. Its icon is a tap, or a faucet if you're from the US. Press X over the flow tool to select it, and use R2 to apply it to the river. Isn't that lovely? In effects mode, you can preview the flow effect even when time is paused. But if you leave effects mode, you'll need to click R3 to see the effects in action. When the river's flowing at the right speed, you may notice something a bit odd. It's flowing the wrong way. Let's fix that using another tool found in style mode, the comb tool. Leave effects mode using L1 and circle, then go back into style mode via the modes menu. The comb tool icon is some wavy lines. Select it with X. Now we're going to make the river flow the correct way. How do we do that? You guessed it. Hold R2 to comb the flecks of the river so they go in the right direction. We're no longer in effects mode, so we can't see the flow effect animating. But just click R3 to start time, and you'll be able to see it again. The key is to move your imp in the direction you'd like the flecks to flow. A bit like you're combing the river's hair. Very stylish.
Wait. I can't say that it flows somewhere. It just flows. There's no direction. Just boiling, I guess. Maybe I have to somehow make it bigger. I didn't think it worked quite the way it is in the tutorial. I've tried my best.
Going the correct way. But if it isn't, just undo and try again.
Just undo and try again. It's always easy for you, dude. Undo, 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 undo. Oh. It doesn't work. Oh yes, it does. Okay, let it be my beautiful red river. So now we go to effects and apply the wave. Does it apply more wave? Or it doesn't? It just works in upwards, no direction. There's no flow here, dude. So even if I'm using this comp tool, it doesn't change anything really. Maybe there is some tweaking of the tool here, huh? No, I can't tweak the tool. Boil, oh, flow. It's different. So, oh yeah, I see now. I use different tool. Now it works. It looks better. I must say. Somehow it works as water, but I guess it's better to be a blue one, to be more believable. Okay.
When you're happy with the speed and direction of the river, click L3 to rewind time. Then it's off to the next step. This scene is really coming together. Next, let's do something interesting with the chimney smoke. Move closer to the smoke so you can see the flecks clearly. These flecks don't look very smoky, do they? Let's change that. If you're not already in style mode, head there now using the modes menu. Open the flex menu with X. It's the button in the center of the top row. Now choose a fleck that looks smoky. How about the dots fleck? When you choose a fleck type, it'll automatically select the Apply Fleck tool. Now, hover your imp over the smoke and hold R2. The flecks will change. That's better. Let's inspect it now using the grab cam. Grab it with R1. And while you're grabbing, spin around it with the left or right stick. The paint strokes look a bit flat, don't they? You can only see them well from certain angles. We can make it a bit more billowy and three-dimensional using the Impasto tool. In the Style menu, select the Impasto tool, then hold R2 to apply it to the smoke. Watch as the individual flecks of the painting become more three-dimensional. To see it better, use the grab cam to spin around the smoke again. You can also press undo and redo to compare the smoke with and without Impasto. Now that you've mastered Impasto, the last style tool we're going to use is the Ruffle tool. The Ruffle tool icon looks like a lot of lines going in different directions. It will randomly rotate the flecks so they're not as orderly. It works in the same way as the other two tools. Select it with X, then use R2 to apply it. And switch the tool to subtractive by pressing triangle. Ruffle makes quite a difference, doesn't it? Why not see if you can animate the smoke using the flow tool in effects mode? When you're happy, go to the next step of the tutorial.
That's cool. I didn't know how to work with these things.
Now that the scene is looking good, we should make Connie's cottage look more welcoming for her. We can do that using something called the Glow tool. So head back to the Modes menu and into Coat mode. The Glow tool has an icon that looks like a little sun. Select it with X, then move your view over to the cottage for a closer look. Now position your view so that you can see the door and the window of the cottage. Then hold R2 over the window in the door to make it glow. Go on, give it some welly. Whoa, that's too bright. Let's press triangle to make the tool subtractive, then use R2 to reduce the glow. Maybe you could try tinting the window to change the color of the light. See what you think. Have a play with the Glow tool, and then move on to the next step when you're ready.
They're having some nuclear reaction inside. Okay, I like nuclear reactions inside houses.
The scene looks so alive now, and Connie's in love with her new home. It's hard to believe that this scene used to be all grey and blocky. Let's try something. How different did we actually make it? To see, we can use a special trick. Press square to open the menu, and then take a look in the Show Hide section. The Show Hide icon looks like an open eye. It can be found in most of the mode's menus. In the Show Hide menu, you can make all sorts of different objects visible or invisible. It only works in edit mode, so your scene will still look the same in play mode. Some of them are on by default, and some are switched off. Coat, Style and Effects is one of the options which is on by default. Its icon is a combination of the icons for all three of those modes.
Wait. How did
Try
you
turning
do
it
that?
off by pressing X icon on a switch. It only works. In the Show Hide menu, you can make all sorts of different objects visible or invisible. It only works in edit mode, so your scene will still look the same in play mode. Some of them are on by default, and some are switched off. Coat, Style and Effects is one of the options which is on by default. Its icon is a combination of the icons for all three of those modes. Try turning it off by pressing X over it. Wow, what an amazing difference. That shows you how powerful these tools really are. Using Coat, Style and Effects, you can make even the most boring block come alive. Practice using the tools and see what you can come up with. When you're finished, go to play mode in the options menu and walk Connie into her beautiful new home. This will complete the tutorial.
Thanks, dude. Into the nuclear home we go. Okay, that sums it up. Thanks for your attention, guys, and look for more tutorials here on Isolation Game. Bye.